Hey guys, for this video I'm going to be showing you how to graph a mass spec graph, or how to create a mass spec graph, I think. So to start off, obviously your numbers will totally be different than mine. However, this is just an example. So when you print out your data sheet to create your mass spec graph, you should see an MZ value and a relative intensity value. Obviously it will be written out relative intensity, but I'm too lazy to write the whole entire thing. Anyways, beyond the point. So what you're going to do is, under your MZ value, you're going to look for the highest number. In my case, right now, it's 20. So what you're going to do is separate two columns. What you're going to do is you're going to start at 0, 0. So for your MZ value, this column is going to be your MZ value. You're going to scroll down all the way to 20. And that's because this is your highest MZ value. And you're going to see in a second. And you're going to click Fill in Series. So you went from 0 to 20, which is your highest MZ value. For your relative intensity, you're going to scroll all the way down. And you're going to keep those zeros as they are. Don't play with them for now. So now you look at your data sheet and you're going to say, oh, so for the MZ value of 1, I have a relative intensity of 2. So you're going to go to 1 and you're going to change that 0 to 2. For 2, you have a relative intensity of 3. So you're going to go to 2 and you're going to change that 0 to 3. For 3, you have a relative intensity of 5. So you're going to change that 0 to 5. For 4, you have a relative intensity of 7. So you're going to go to the 4 and you're going to change that 0 to 7. For 5, you have a relative intensity of 12. 5, you're going to change that 0 to 12. For 6, you have a relative intensity of 3. 6, you're going to change that 0 to 3. For 7, you have a relative intensity of 5, and you're going to change that 0 to 5. For 11, you have a relative intensity of 12, so you're going to go all the way to 11, and you're going to change that 0 to 12. For 20, you have a relative intensity of 23, so you're going to go to 20, and you're going to change that 0 to 23. And you go on. Obviously, in a real mass spec data, you have much larger data points, but this is just for the sake of making the process simple. So what you're going to do now is you're going to highlight both columns. You're going to go Insert, which I'm already on, obviously, because whatever. You're going to go Insert, and you're going to click Clustered Columns. Column. Okay. Again, it shouldn't show up like that. Let's see if we can do this. Insert, clustered columns. There you go. What you're gonna do is, so you see how you have both the orange and the black and the blue. So those blue are just your MZ values, which you really don't need. So you're just gonna get rid of them. So now this is your mass spec graph. However, this doesn't look as nice, and those columns, or like those bars are pretty thick. And I think that is due to the fact that I don't really have a lot of points on. Like, I don't have a lot of data points, so I don't really know how to change them. And I'll show you what an actual kind of mass spec graph looks like. But anyways, I'll show you that later. So let's say you want to edit it. Like, I know from the professor that I took spectroscopy with, was very particular about the way he wants the graph. Anyways, so he didn't want any title, so you get rid of the title. He didn't want any of those grid lines. You get rid of those. So you see how you edit your x-axis. So what you want to do is, first of all, change the line to black, so by clicking color. You double click on it again, I guess. Number, tick marks. We want them outside. Okay. Now what you're gonna do is, for Okay, now you're gonna go, we'll do this later. Now to the y-axis, I guess we want a solid line. You're gonna go to this paragraph, and you're gonna go under tick marks, and we want the major type to be on the outside. You're gonna go to the color, change it to black. And what you're gonna do is double click on those on the numbers. You're gonna go to home. You're gonna change the font. Obviously, you're gonna change the font to whatever you're writing the actual lab report on. I usually write mine on Garamond, so that's what I change that's what I change the numbers on my graph to. You need to change the numbers, the color of the numbers to black. You're gonna do the same thing for the y-axis. You're gonna go to home, change the number font to Garamond, because that's what I write my lab reports on, and that's what my professor prefers. Okay. Now, this looks odd. Unless you're gonna print your graph in colors, it's not very appropriate, and it would not be highly recommended to print your graph. If you're printing your graph in black and white, it's not recommended that you keep those bars in colors. You need to change them to black. Ew, no, that's not what we want. Okay, let's do fill. Okay, we want those to be in black. There should be a much easier way, guys, but this is just... Okay, let's see, hopefully that highlighted everything. There you go. Again, this should be much thinner. However, for some reason, I don't know why it's showing up to me like that. For me like that. Anyways, so now also for the graph, if you're going to copy and paste it to Word, you don't want it to look odd. So you're going to make sure you get rid of those border lines. So you're going to say no fill. And also borders, no lines. There you go. So now it should have no lines, but no lines. There you go. Now it has no lines. Obviously, if you want to create, you add like your if you want to add like your x-axis and y-axis, you're going to go to chart elements. You're going to click primary horizontal. What the heck? Where the hell did it go? Primary horizontal. Oh, there you go. You're going to go primary. So you're going to go to the access titles, and you're going to click primary horizontal, which is what I just did over here. And you're going to click on primary vertical. And you're going to change those to the MZ and relative intensity. You're going to need to write the full thing out. Also, be very sure to change the color and the font of the x-axis titles to whatever you write your lab report with, whatever the font you decide to write your lab report on. Again, I write mine in Garamond, so I'm going to change those to Garamond and black. I'm going to go home, Garamond, and to black. So yeah, that's how you create a mass spec graph. I'll show you now what my actual one looks like. So this is what my mass spec that I've done for my actual class. You can also add like text box of like major fragmentation. So like this is my M plus. So yeah, that's beyond the point. But if you would like, you can always add them, and that's through insert and you can create a text box, and you'll write the numbers of major fragments. Well, hopefully that helped you guys somewhat out. I'll see you guys in another video.